All right, is it just me, or was this a good week for the bad guys, or what? Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and think about it. We've got an Iran nuke deal going through as opponents in Congress really can't find a way to stop it. Soon we're going to have a Palestinian flag going up after the UN goes ahead and approves it. Well, Ben Stein has had enough of it. He's not the only one. We've also got Charles Payne, Daggy McDowell, Julie Waginski, and we got Charlie Gasparino. Adam Lashinsky is making last-minute changes to his fantasy football team, that or he's burning an American flag. I don't know which, but he's busy, predisposed. Ben, you know, I'm looking at this in this deal. I mean, the Iran thing goes through. Good day for the Palestinians at the UN. I could go on, but those are two of the headlines. Wow. What do you make of it?
I'm mystified, Neil. Why did Mr. Obama want this deal so badly? Gives the Iranians, sooner or later, a nuclear bomb, gives them a great deal of money, gives them ballistic missiles, takes our pressure of sanctions off them. Why did Mr. Obama want this deal so badly? What was the imperative for him to get this deal, except some kind of deep-seated psychological identification with the Iranians, some kind of deep-seated hostility to Israel? I don't understand the motivation. It just seems to me there was nothing going on here to make him do this. And if Mr. Oginski is about to say, what's the alternative? The alternative is to bomb the sites. I mean, that's been done before. Bombing is a common theme in preventing people from getting things, and it seems to me it would have been worth it to do it this time.
All right, I'm glad you mentioned Julie, because now I don't have to go to her. But Julie, I mean, you know that criticism is out there now. The other one that you know, and I've talked to even former Reagan ambassadors to say, well, you know, Ronald Reagan probably would have entertained trying to do a deal with Iran, but not one that he couldn't verify. And the fear with this one is that on paper there are ways we could verify it, but we're not going to do that, or we can't do that, and we're limited because American personnel are not among those who can verify it. Hence, they get a lot of money. It is their money. They get a lot of money to do God knows what down the end. What do you think?
Well, as somebody who actually knows a little bit about Soviet proliferation, I'll tell you, we never really had American personnel verifying military sites in the Soviet Union, whether they were keeping to their agreements, and yet Ronald Reagan did take that chance. Look, I will say this, Ben, you can't.
Well, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. You lost me there, which is easy to do. I mean, he did have a way to verify what they were doing or not doing, and it was crucial in follow-up deals, right?
Of course, and we have a way to verify too. I assume
but
the IAEA
the rap is we don't. We're not part of that verification team.
Well, wait a second. The IAEA is verifying it, but to go back to Ben's point.
Wait. I know I'm getting sidetracked. The IAEA isn't even talking to us about what they agreed to on these sidecar deals,
The IAEA is going to be able to verify this. If we get any inkling, if our intelligence gets any inkling that the Iranians are cheating, then we claw back. And the provisions are off. But let me address something that Ben said. Then what? Then I guess we do what Ben suggested, which is we bomb them. But I will say this. Big difference between bombing the Iraq nuclear site that the Israelis did in 1981 or 1982 and bombing this. The French had built that nuclear development. The French did not build anything in Iraq. You can't bomb scientists' knowledge out of existence. We bomb it, they'll rebuild it.
All right, well, I want to get back to it. If you don't mind.
You can't bomb the scientists' knowledge out of existence, that you can blow up the reactors, you can blow up the centrifuges.
And then they'll rebuild them.
All right, well, I do want to get back. I mean, we do know this much.
And then we'll bomb it again.
Okay, Charlie Gasparino, what we've got, and this is your $150 billion. That's their frozen money that's being unfrozen for this.
Right.
And the immediate worry is there's really no immediate sort of carrot and stick treatment of that money.
There's almost no carrot and stick.
So they have that money, and the fear is they're going to do a lot of bad stuff.
I mean, the only thing we can do, I guess, is bomb. You know, I mean,
but what I'm saying is we can't monitor that.
I know.
We can't verify that.
And let's be real clear when we compare the Soviets to the Iranians. I mean, you can make a really good case that Khrushchev, Brezhnev, Gorbachev, and I probably missed an interim one somewhere between those three, were more rational human beings. Two, yes, I know there's two. I can't remember their names, but are more rational human beings than the clowns running Iran. I mean, we are dealing with lunatics. And to get to Ben's question, what is the President Obama after when it comes to this? I think really, maybe not destroying the state of Israel, but I think eliminating it as a power, as anything of significance, is probably his end game. That there is a deep-seated leftist thought that Israel is the root of all evil in the Middle East, and if you got rid of Israel sort of as a power, if you turned the country into something less of what it is with a Jewish identity, that, you know, everything would be okay.
Well, I do know is the UN's going to be flying the Palestinian flag. Now, look, they're free to fly whatever flag they agree on and all, but I'm just saying that you could see, Dagan, in the fear that comes out here that, wait a minute, this world could be turning in a way that's anti-free people.
Right, because this Iran deal was not a treaty voted on by Congress. This was a deal that the president cooked up that was ratified by the UN Security Council.
And by the way, Republican leadership signed on to this thing and the way it was going to be done.
A 98 to 1 Senate vote for this review of this agreement. However,
and the kicker is we won't have a vote on this agreement.
And however, in that, the administration acknowledged and promised that it had to submit to Congress all of the information in this nuclear agreement. But they didn't do that. Here's what we found out, that you had the Associated Press is the one that told us that the IAEA was going to let Iran inspect its own site at Parchin. We find out from Senator Tom Cotton and his House colleague Mike Pompeo that the IAEA had all these side deals. This is something that's been shoved down America's throats, and once it goes through, no president will be able to turn it back, because Iran will have the money and because all these other nations and their businesses will be doing business with this sponsor of terrorism.
But Dagan, with all due respect, they were going to do business with them anyway. Let's say we voted this deal down. Let's say we didn't agree to them. You know this better than I do. The French are already in there trying to cut a deal. The Germans, the Russians, the Chinese. Sanctions would have been lifted by the rest of the world anyway. So wait a second, and we would have gotten nothing out of it. The Iranians would have had to comply.
Without our backing, this deal would never have gotten done.
That's just not true.
Yeah,
that's just not true. It's the U.S. leading the lifting of the sanctions.
Yes.
U.S. led
the
them,
U.S.
not the
is
French.
keeping. I'm sorry, the U.S. is keeping its bilateral sanctions in place.
They're keeping very small sanctions. The main lifting of sanctions was initiated by Mr. Obama.
The bottom line is it is a done deal. We can argue the particulars. What's going to be police, not police. But Charles Payne, your thoughts on what happens now?
I think the one thing everyone is saying, even Julie, is that the barn door, we can't close it afterwards, because once they've got $100 billion, Iran to continue this campaign of terror in the region and to become more of a threat to everyone, including Israel, including Saudi Arabia, and everyone else.
Bottom line, they're free to do with their money what they want. None of that's in the agreement.
We could quibble about the next president, because this was an executive order, issuing their own executive order to take this out, but it might be too late.
I just came in this day with this idea, just me. Sometimes things happen in 3s or 4s or 5s. But it was a good week for bad guys. That was my impression. Now, then hope might spring eternal, and this deal ends up being a good deal.
It's been a good year for bad guys.
Well, yeah, and I'm just saying those trends and those developments taken together over the past week or so do not inspire a great deal of confidence. China then just off the coast of Alaska with 5 ships, just sort of, checking out the shoreline. The same with the Russians off the coast of Georgia, as in the state of Georgia. I just think it's just like a weird, unsettling, hey, the world is upside down, unnerving series of developments.
Exactly.
If you don't like this week, you're going to hate what the coming years look like as money pours into Iran, as the arms embargo is lifted on Iran in 5 years, when Iran is allowed to develop ballistic missiles that they can attach nuclear device to 8 years out. So enjoy this week, because the coming years are going to be
and here's the irony, and all you have to do is listen to Hillary Clinton talk about this deal in recent weeks. We are closer to war with this deal. She said it to enforce. If I have to, we'll bomb them. I'm paraphrasing, but she said it. So
if they don't comply.
Yeah, but think about it. Do you really think they're going to comply? I mean, it's like trusting the mob.
I left out the biggest development of all this.
Like trusting the mob.
President, because of a Chinese entity, bought the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. He is not going to be staying at the Waldorf Astoria.
Boy,
when he comes to New York, do you know where he is staying?
Where?
The Days Inn on 11th Avenue. It was a very unusual development. But how paranoid are we?
There's a Days Inn on 11th Avenue.
New York Palace Hotel.
I know.
Staying at the New York Palace Hotel?
I know that Days Inn.
I bet
that
you
used
do.
To be,
no, not the one by the hour. No. I'll tell you, though, that was the hotel of choice of all presidents. That's where you stayed. Well, no longer. That is how weird the world's getting.
Right. And it is
weird in the wrong way, though.
Weird in the wrong way. Guys, I want to thank you very much. Well, hike or just take a hike. Democrats want to do one with taxes. Republicans want to do the other with the tax code. We debate. You hide.
Today on Forbes on Fox, Jeb says we need civility in D.C., but Donald says forget about being nice. We need competence. Who's got it right to get Washington working for us again? Plus, homicides on the rise all over America. Could that start bringing down local economies across America? We report, you decide, at the top of the hour.